jail! Oh, God! Oh, God is good. I keep telling y'all, street got no God. God do not look after street. Boosie really thought he wasn't going to jail for that pistol. I knew he was going. I just was waiting.
Oh, God is good, but these streets, they got no guard, no mercy. People really thought Boosie would never see a sale over that pistol charge, but deep down, I knew this day was creeping closer. I kept my distance, and now, here it is. Boosie staring down a brutal 10-year sentence on that federal gun case. The internet didn't waste a second jumping in, and of course, the loudest voice of all, Charleston White. The second the story broke, Charleston went live like he just hit the jackpot. He was cracking up, bragging that he'd called it years ago, laughing like this was his moment. Then he twisted the knife even deeper, saying he wouldn't care if Boosie never walked free again.
Cases stopped me from doing traveling all across the world making. So I just want to get it over with and, accept my guilty plea. I'm ready to get over with.
Anything you want to say to your fans?
Just say a prayer for me. I just need prayer. I don't need nothing else.
Charleston White was celebrating you taking the plea deal. I think he even said he hopes you die in jail and stuff like that.
Yeah, I heard.
The biggest thing right now was that you actually accepted a plea deal for your federal gun case.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been fighting this thing from the very, very beginning?
I've been fighting for probably 3 years now, probably.
3 years.
Meanwhile, Boosie had already confessed to fans earlier this month that he took a plea deal, tired, drained, worn out from fighting a case that's been chasing him for years. The fans had dropped it once before, but in 2024, they came back swinging harder than ever, re-indicting him with more heat than before. That so-called best choice plea could now cost him a whole decade of his life. While Boosie was online posting teary messages about trusting God and being exhausted by the fight, Charleston was on live clowning, literally popping champagne like it was his birthday. Just imagine it, one man praying for strength while another laughs and dances on his downfall in real time. Boosie's legal mess has been dragging on forever, but this federal gun case, it's looking like the final nail in his coffin. He got caught as a felon in possession of a firearm, one of the hardest charges to beat in the system. Fans thought he was finally free when the case got tossed in 2023, believing he could focus on family, music, and stacking money again. But the feds weren't done. In 2024, they came back with the same charge, basically saying, "Nice try, but we're not finished with you." That's when Boosie finally broke down. On X, he wrote, "I thought this case was over and I was going to get on with my life. But God don't make mistakes and I'm tired of fighting." Those words cut deep. That didn't sound like just another post. It sounded like a man at his breaking point. Like Boosie was finally waving the white flag after years of surviving storms. If you've been following him since Baton Rouge, you already know. This man's been dodging heat forever. He's survived cases, beefs, even health scares, but this one hit different. 10 years behind bars isn't just a little bump. It's a life changer. You could hear the exhaustion pouring out of every word he typed. This wasn't the same Boosie who used to troll everyone, always ready for war. This time, he sounded cornered. Fans flooded his comments with love and prayers, begging him to stay strong. But Charleston White, he went the opposite route. He jumped on live grinning from ear to ear, bragging that he called this years ago. He swore he knew Boosie would never dodge this one. And now that it's official, Charleston's out here celebrating like he just won a championship. And then he went darker, saying he hopes Boosie dies in prison? That's wild, even for Charleston. But hey, this is the same man who built his entire name off being hip-hop's biggest troll. And the timing made it worse. Boosie hadn't even processed his sentence before Charleston turned it into a comedy skit for millions to laugh at. This beef didn't just appear out of nowhere. It's been bubbling since late 2022. That's when Kanye West broke the internet wearing that White Lives Matter shirt. Boosie called Ye out for disrespecting black people, and the culture mostly agreed with him. But Charleston, he couldn't resist. He hopped online blasting Boosie for even speaking on Kanye, and that's when things went off the rails. Charleston didn't just clap back. He aimed straight for the throat. He dragged Boosie's son, Tootie Raw, and even T.I.'s son, King Harris, right into the mess. He called them ugly, said they couldn't fight, and even predicted they'd end up behind bars one day. That's when everyone realized Charleston wasn't a regular troll. He was ruthless, going for the lowest blows possible.
You were attacking Kanye because of the
Nah, this Kanye West shit just happened. Nigga been coming at me. He been coming at me. It's just, I can't respond to those people, bro. Like, that's a danger to what I got going on. Can't take no risk of losing this shit behind me.
What shocked folks most was Boosie's calm. Instead of exploding like people expected, he kept his composure. In an interview with Tony the Closer, Boosie explained he had to stay quiet because one wrong word could land him right back in jail. Once Charleston brought kids into it, Boosie knew reacting could ruin him. He wasn't scared, he was smart. He saw Charleston's trap from a mile away. But that calm didn't last long. By early 2023, the beef was boiling. Charleston was already trolling T.I. over his paperwork party, stirring the pot nonstop. That's when Tootie jumped in and things got even hotter. Tootie fired back hard, calling Charleston old, messy, and even telling him to go die. But Charleston, being Charleston, turned the disrespect up to max level. He went live saying, "I hope your daddy die from that diabetes. I hope they don't send him the insulin 1 month. Who says that?" He basically wished death on Boosie just to get under his son's skin. And the drama only got worse. Weeks later, Tootie actually got arrested on gun charges. And Charleston wasted no time taking credit. He bragged that he called the cops himself, tipped off the Department of Public Safety, and even sent pictures. He claimed police were already watching Tootie because, in his words, Boosie is a 6-time convicted murderer who uses kids to kill people. That's when folks realized this was no longer internet talk. Charleston's trolling was causing real-life damage. And it still didn't stop. Barely 3 months later, Boosie got arrested in San Diego right after a court hearing. Charleston went live grinning ear to ear, saying it was all God's plan, comparing Boosie to Daniel in the Lion's Den. He turned the man's pain into a sermon, laughing through it all, acting like prison was divine punishment. Even when Boosie tried to play it cool, you could tell Charleston was living rent-free in his head. By this point, it wasn't just rap beef anymore. It had taken over internet culture. Aiden Ross was supposed to host Boosie on stream, but Boosie wasn't trying to deal with Charleston's name being dragged into everything, so he backed out. Then Aiden flipped it, saying he turned Boosie down out of loyalty to Charleston White. That rumor spread like wildfire until DJ Vlad jumped in, roasting Aiden for siding with the man who once praised Hitler and denied the Holocaust. That moment proved just how far Charleston's reach had gotten. Even young streamers were using his name like digital currency, and Charleston, he wasn't letting up. By March, he was back online, claiming Boosie told promoters not to book him. But instead of stopping there, he swore he'd called the feds himself and was ready to jam Boosie up over threats. And of course, he had to make it dirtier. He dragged Boosie's health again, mocking him for his diabetes just to keep twisting the knife. Then he went live saying the FBI was watching Boosie because of him. No proof, no receipts, but with Charleston, he doesn't need any. He just says it loud enough until it starts sounding true. Boosie even admitted he's been getting calls from locked up dudes asking, "When you coming in here with us?" Imagine that. Carrying the weight of a federal case while inmates are clowning you before you even get sentenced. That's insult on top of injury. And Charleston knows exactly how to make it sting. Word is, Boosie didn't even want a risk trial. He went straight for the plea, and honestly, who could blame him? Imagine Charleston White walking into that courtroom, the same man who feeds off chaos, ready to turn the trial into his personal circus, pointing fingers, cracking jokes, maybe even testifying, then sprinting to the blogs before the gavel even drops. Boosie knew that risk wasn't worth it. And the wildest part? It's not far-fetched. Charleston's been open about cooperating with law enforcement before. When he was just 14, he got caught in a robbery with other teens, and one of them, Antoine Doolittle, ended up killing a man named Michael Levy. When court time came, Charleston testified against him. In street culture, that's unforgivable, even for a kid, and people still drag him for it. But Charleston doesn't run from it. He owns it. He said, "I was young. I told the truth." That's not snitching, that's survival. And he doubles down every time, saying he never followed no street code and doesn't care who gets mad. Crazy, right? The same guy calling rappers rats is probably admitting he snitched himself. Recently, old footage from that juvenile case resurfaced and the internet lit up again. People blasted him as a hypocrite for preaching about loyalty one day, then bragging about testifying the next. But instead of backing down, Charleston got louder. Contradiction is his whole brand, and that's exactly why Boosie played it safe. He knew trial wouldn't just be about the feds. It'd be about Charleston stealing the spotlight and turning the courtroom into a show. The last thing Boosie wanted was to gamble with Charleston White taking the stand. This is the same man who brags about calling cops, setting people up, and wearing snitch like it's designer. With a guy like that floating around, Boosie knew better than to play games in court. If Charleston even had a slim chance of being connected, he would have turned that trial into his own live comedy special. Picture it, Charleston pointing fingers, cracking jokes at the jury, then hopping on live after yelling, "I helped put Boosie away." And honestly, that's not even a stretch. That's exactly how Charleston operates. He lived to turn real life into a circus. And to him, this isn't just another rapper's downfall, it's karma. Proof that his trolling was prophecy coming true. Trace it back. The beef in 2022, the jabs at Tootie, the arrest, the snitch talk, it all built up to this. It's almost like Charleston's been waiting, maybe even praying for this exact moment where Boosie faces a decade behind bars. But here's the crazy twist. Boosie ain't even locked up yet. He's still free, but that plea deal hangs heavy, and those 10 years feel too close. Meanwhile, Charleston's online clowning like the game's over, dancing, laughing, acting like he won. The streets are split. Some laughing with him, others quiet, just waiting to see if the hammer really drops for good. And here's the part that stings the most. If Charleston's this loud while Boosie's still walking free, imagine the circus when sentencing day comes. The internet won't just break, it'll explode, with Charleston front and center, clowning like it's his victory parade. So what do you think? Is Boosie really about to lose this one for good? Or can he somehow flip the script? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, share this video with your people, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. I'll catch y'all on the next one.